To perform a bank reconciliation, we follow 3 steps. The first one is we go line by line and match the entries from your cash book to your bank statement. We tick off anything that's the same. Step 2 is to update our cash book. So we need to check if anything's missing in our cash book but appears in the bank statement, like bank charges or direct debits. Then step 3, we need to reconcile for timing differences. Now let's look at this question. We're told about Zishan. His bank balance in his cash book does not match the bank balance. So the top half is an extract of Zishan's cash book and the bottom half is a bank statement. And we're told some additional information about some checks. The first thing we need to make clear is our debits and credits. So in our cash book, on the debit side, this is money in, and on the credit side is money out. But on bank statements, it's flipped. So the credit side is money in, and the debit side is money out. So now we can go to step 1, which is comparing and matching the bank statement to the cash book. So let's start with check number 123, which is £220 in the bank statement. And if we check on our cash book, we have check 123, but it's £202. We had the same transaction, but the number doesn't agree. Zishan thinks he paid £202, but the bank said he paid £220. In the additional information, we're told that the bank has made a mistake when processing this check, and so has overcharged Zishan by £18. Zishan's cash book is correct, but the bank has made an error, so we don't change anything on our cash book. Instead, we'll fix this when we prepare the bank reconciliation, which is step 3. But we can still tick them off because they both appear. And next we have rent received. If you look on the debit side of Zishan's cash book, it's not there. So this is something we need to bring in on Zishan's cash book. Then we have check number 126 for £655. We can see this in Zishan's cash book, so we can match these off. Next on the bank statement, we have this direct debit of £2,000. But if you check Zishan's cash book, it's not on there. So this is something we also need to update Zishan's cash book with. So then we have this check return for £110. So this means we tried to pay something, but the check bounced. So now we receive the money back. As you can see, it's not on Zishan's cash book. So this is something else we need to bring in. Lastly, on the bank statement, we have this check number 124 for £660. This is in Zishan's cash book, so we can tick that off. So now we've ticked off everything on the bank statement. Now let's look at the cash book and see if there's anything in there the bank hasn't recorded yet. First of all, we have this money coming in from Wendy's Wardrobes. So Zishan has recorded this in his cash book, but there's nothing about it on the bank statement. Zishan has banked this check or is about to, but it hasn't cleared in the bank yet. This is called an outstanding lodgement. It's money we received and recorded, but the bank hasn't processed it yet. This is something we're going to include on the bank reconciliation, which is step 3. Then we also have this payment made to Dusters, check 125 for £2,000. This is not on the bank statement, so Zishan has recorded it in his cash book, but the person who got the check hasn't cashed it yet, so the bank doesn't know the money has left the account, so that's why it's not on the statement. This is called an unpresented check. It means the check hasn't been presented to the bank yet. This will form part of our reconciliation in step 3. So now we've been through the cash book and the bank statement, but then we have additional information. So then we're told Zishan found a check in the till received in the previous week from Douglas for £450 that has been completely omitted from the books, and the check has not been banked. So this means he did not write it in his cash book and he didn't pay it into the bank, so the bank doesn't even know about it. So this is called an outstanding lodgement, because the money has been received by the business, but it's not yet showing on the bank statement. So it's similar to the Wendy's Wardrobes. So we're going to bring it in on step 3. So now step 1 is done. We have compared the bank statement and the cash book. The next thing we need to do is update our cash book. And in this question, we've been given the format. So remember, this step is for anything that is in the bank statement, but is not in Zishan's cash book, which is the things we've circled here. So first we had the rent received of £6,500. Then we also have the check returned of £110. Then we have the direct debit, which was going to go on the credit side because it's a payment, £2,123. Then we have this check from Douglas Co. for £450 that's been omitted, so we do need to bring this in as well. So Douglas. So now we've updated Zishan's cash book. We can now balance this off. So I'm going to add up the highest side, which is the debit side. So this is 7060. And we're going to put down both sides. Then we can see the credit side falls short. Then we're going to have a balance carried forward, 7,000 minus the 2,000 minus the £32, which gives us £4,905. So this is going to be carried forward onto the debit side in the next period. So we're going to have a balance brought forward of the 4,905. So now step 2 is also done. So now we're on to step 3, reconcile for time and differences. This is because our cash book is showing 4,905 balance. Bank statement is showing £1,042. This difference is just due to timing. We don't change the accounts. In our accounts, the balance will be shown as a 4,905. This reconciliation is just for our own records to show why there is a difference. So we're going to start with the balance for our bank statement, which is the £1,042. Then we're going to add the outstanding lodgements, Remember, these are the amounts Zishan has received and recorded in his cash book, but they haven't appeared on the bank statement yet because they're still being processed. So we have the Wendy's check, which is 5,500. We also have the check of £450 Zishan forgot to pay in. So it's in his books now, but it's not on the bank statement. So we need to add this in. Then we need to minus any unpresented checks. These are the checks Zishan has paid out and recorded it in his cash book, but people haven't paid them into the bank yet, so they're not going to appear on the bank statement. So Zishan gave this Duster's check 2,105. So this unpresented check needs to be a minus figure. This is because the bank still thinks that Zishan has this money in the account, but it has already left his cash book. So normally that would be it, but then we have this anomaly, which is when the bank made an error. So Zishan paid the check for £202, but the bank recorded it as £220. So they overcharged him by £18. But since the bank made the mistake, we add the extra £18 back they wrongly deducted. I'm going to put £18 there, and I'm just going to put adjustment for bank error. When we total all of this up, £4,905. And as you can see, this is the same number as in Zishan's cash book, so we have successfully reconciled it.